The story begins in the suffocating isolation of an Antarctic research station, where the howling winds of a blizzard claw at the walls like something desperate to get in. The scientists inside are cut off from the world, a small pocket of humanity in an endless white void. Then, through the static of a failing radio, a voice breaks through, cracked, desperate, almost human. It's a distress call. A man, or something pretending to be one, claims to be from a nearby outpost, begging for help. His words are just coherent enough to be understood, but there's something wrong in the cadence, the pauses just a fraction too long, the tone shifting unnaturally between fear and something else, something that doesn't sound like fear at all. The researchers exchange uneasy glances. No one should be out there in this storm. No one could be. Yet the voice keeps pleading, looping fragments of speech as if testing how to form the words correctly. One of the scientists leans closer, straining to hear, and for a moment the static clears, just enough to catch a wet guttural noise beneath the words, like something learning to speak. Then the transmission cuts out, leaving only silence and a question hanging in the air. Was that really a person? This scene sets the tone for the entire story. An unseen horror wearing a human voice like a mask. The radio transmission is the first whisper of the thing's presence, its imperfect mimicry hinting at something far worse than the storm outside. The scientists don't know it yet, but they've just made first contact with a predator that doesn't roar or snarl. It imitates, luring them into trust before it strikes. The terror isn't in what they hear, but in what they don't, the gaps in the voice where something inhuman lurks. The opening scene of The Thing That Mimics Human Voices is a masterclass in slow-building horror, where the true terror lies not in what is seen, but in what is heard, and more importantly, in what is not quite right about it. The research station is a dying ember of warmth in the vast Antarctic darkness, its walls groaning under the assault of the blizzard outside. The scientists inside are already on edge, cut off from civilization, their routines worn thin by isolation, their nerves frayed from the endless, oppressive white nothingness beyond the windows. At first, it's just static, the usual white noise of a dead signal, but then, beneath the hiss, a voice emerges. It's broken, distant, fighting against the storm's interference. A man, or something shaped like one, is speaking. He claims to be from Outpost 6, a nearby station. He says they've been attacked. He says they need help. But his words are off. The pacing is wrong, sometimes too slow, as if each word is being carefully selected and then suddenly too fast, tumbling out in a rush. There's a hollowness to the tone, like the voice is being projected through a tunnel. And then, there are the pauses, not the natural hesitations of a man in shock, but strange, deliberate silences, as if the speaker is listening for a reaction. One of the researchers, a linguist, frowns. Human speech has rhythms, subtle tells of emotion, of thought. This voice doesn't. It's copying distress, not feeling it. Then comes the worst part. A burst of static, and for just a second, the voice changes. Not in words, but in texture. Something beneath the speech, a wet, clicking sound, like a throat not meant for human sounds adjusting itself. Then it's gone, and the voice is back to its pleading, desperate tone. The researchers debate. Could it be real? Is someone actually out there? Or is it a trick of the storm, a warped echo of some old transmission bouncing off the ice? But then, the voice says a name. One of their names. And that's when they realize whatever is speaking to them has been listening for a long, long time. The storm swallows them whole the moment they step outside. The rescue team, 3 researchers bundled in parkas, their faces barely visible beneath frost-caked hoods, trudge through the howling dark, their headlamps cutting weak yellow tunnels through the swirling snow. The radio transmission still echoes in their minds, that broken voice pleading from Outpost 6. Help us, please. They find the outpost half buried in snowdrifts, its walls sagging under the weight of the storm. No lights, no movement, just the wind screaming through broken metal. The door is ajar. Inside, the station is a graveyard of overturned equipment and frozen bloodstains. Tables are flipped, walls gouged with deep scratches. Something fought here, something desperate. But no bodies, no survivors. Then a sound, a whimper from deeper in the station. They find him curled in a storage locker, a man shivering, his eyes wide with animal terror. He claims to be the last one left. Says the others went mad. Says something was pretending to be them. But his story doesn't add up. He knows their names before they say them. He laughs at odd moments, like he's remembering a joke they weren't told. And when one researcher reaches out to check his pulse, his skin is too warm for someone who should be freezing to death. Then the radio crackles. A voice, his voice, comes through the static, screaming from back at the main station. Don't bring it back! That's not me! That's not... The transmission cuts off. The man in front of them smiles, just for a second. And the blizzard outside wails like something laughing. The survivor from Outpost 6 sits hunched in the medical bay, his fingers twitching against his knees like spiders testing their legs. The researchers watch him through the glass, their breath fogging the pain. He hasn't spoken since they returned. Not really. He just repeats things. Dr. Lerner leans in, voice steady. Can you tell us what happened out there? The survivor's lips part. What comes out isn't an answer. It's Lerner's own voice, pitched perfect, syllable for syllable. Can you tell us what happened out there? A beat of silence. The room chills. Then, from down the hall, a scream. It's Torres, the communications officer. They find her backed against a wall, her face white. I heard myself, she gasps, calling for help from the supply closet. But when I open the door, empty. Of course it's empty. Back in the med bay, the survivor is smiling now. Not a human smile, something practiced, muscles moving in the wrong order. His head tilts, bird-like, as he watches them. That's when the whispers start. From the vents, from the shadows. Fragments of their own voices, stitched together into nonsense sentences. Check the generator. No, please, it's in the walls. The thing isn't just mimicking them, it's learning how to lie. This is where the horror shifts from external to intimate. The monster isn't some alien beast roaring in the dark. It's the sound of your own voice saying things you never said. It's the violation of hearing your laughter echo from an empty room. The survivors realize with dawning dread that their most human trait, their voices, are no longer theirs. And if it can copy that, what else can it copy? The scene ends with the researchers staring at each other, wondering, when the thing speaks next, will it even bother to hide? Or will it just sound exactly like you? The station has become a house of echoes. Every shadow hums with stolen voices. Every corridor whispers with something that isn't human, but sounds like it should be. The researchers gather in the dim glow of the mess hall, their faces drawn tight with exhaustion and paranoia. They've run out of options. Dr. Hayes slams a scalpel down on the table. We test the blood. Silence. The theory is simple. Human blood is human. The thing's blood, whatever it is, isn't. It might look like them, sound like them, even smile like them, but at a microscopic level, it will betray itself. One by one, they prick their fingers. The first few tests go smoothly. Red droplets sizzle normally under the microscope. Then it's Shaw's turn. His hand shakes as he nicks his thumb. The blood wells up, dark and thick. Too thick. Under the lens, it moves. A collective inhale. Shaw's face drains of color as the realization hits him. He shouldn't be seeing his own blood twitch like something alive. The room erupts. Chairs screech back. Someone shouts. Shaw stumbles away, babbling denials, but it's too late. The thing doesn't bleed. It pretends to. And then, chaos. Hayes lunges for the flamethrower. Shaw's mouth opens too wide, his scream distorting into something that no longer sounds human. The others scatter, but not fast enough. The blood on the slide lurches, tendrils snapping toward the nearest warm body. This isn't just a test. It's a trigger. The blood test is the point of no return. Up until now, there was doubt. Maybe they were imagining things. Maybe the storm was driving them mad. But science doesn't lie. The moment Shaw's blood moves on its own, the last shred of trust dissolves. The horror isn't just that the thing is among them, it's that they don't know who's still real. And worse, the thing knew this would happen. It let them try. It wanted to see how they'd turn on each other. The scene ends in fire and screaming, the station's walls painted in flickering shadows as the survivors learn the hardest truth of all. The only thing more dangerous than the monster outside is the one already inside your skin. The station is in ruins. Smoke curls from the scorched walls where desperate flames had tried and failed to cleanse the infection. The survivors are down to 3 now: Hayes, Torres, and the thing they still pretend is Shaw. They huddle in the generator room, the last bastion of light in a building that has become a carcass of flickering fluorescence and groaning metal. Hayes's hands won't stop shaking. The flamethrower is almost empty. Then Shaw, the thing wearing Shaw, starts laughing. It's a wet, gurgling sound, like something drowning in its own throat. His head lolls back too far, tendons snapping audibly as his jaw unhinges. His skin ripples, then splits down the middle like a zipper being torn open. What emerges isn't a monster. It's all of them. Faces push against the inside of Shaw's flesh like prisoners behind plastic. Lerner's screaming mouth, Torres' wide eyes, Hayes' own face twisted in a mockery of fear. The thing isn't just mimicking them. It has absorbed them, digested their memories, their voices, their shapes, and now it wears them like a child trying on costumes. Torres vomits. Hayes fires the flamethrower. The thing screeches, a sound made of a dozen overlapping voices, a chorus of the dead howling through a single ruined throat. It lunges, not at them, but past them, toward the radio, toward the outside world, because it doesn't want to hide anymore. It wants to spread. The generator room is a tomb of flickering lights and frozen breath. Only 2 remain, Hayes and Torres, though neither can be certain the other is still human. The flamethrower is dry. The fuel tanks are ruptured. Outside the shattered windows, the storm wails like the thing's stolen voices, taunting them with fragments of their dead comrades' screams. Torres presses the detonator into Hayes' palm. Her fingers are too warm. "We burn it all," she says. Hayes hesitates. He remembers the blood test, remembers how the thing's imitation of Shaw had almost been perfect, except for the way it smiled a second too late. Torres's pupils are too wide. Her voice has a strange lilt. Is it her? Or is it learning to be her? The station's self-destruct sequence winds to life around them. Torres steps closer. "You don't trust me." A statement, not a question. Hayes' thumb hovers over the trigger. The thing could be either of them, could be both. That's the cruelest joke. It doesn't just wear faces, it wears doubt, until even the act of choosing becomes a form of surrender. A noise from the hallway, something dragging itself closer. Torres's hand covers his. Now. The detonator clicks. It doesn't matter which one of them was the monster. The explosion will kill them both. And somewhere beyond the flames, in the pristine Antarctic snow, a new shape stumbles toward the horizon, wearing a face that hasn't started rotting yet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.